Do you need to?
Good morning, good afternoon, good day, everybody. Today we're very lucky to have Janet and Peter Hough with us. Janet, I asked her to come on probably a year ago. She's come here kicking and screaming, but I really don't care. I just wanted to hear. So, good morning, you two.
Good morning, Jane.
Morning, Jane.
And thanks for your time.
Oh, it's an absolute joy. So, tell me, the first question I always love is, who are you, not what do you do? So, who are Janet and Peter?
Um, well, you can see us. We're a couple in our mid-60s, and I think we've been married for over 40 years, and I think you describe us as a really fantastic team.
Peter, what do you say about that?
I'd agree from probably inauspicious beginning in the university library. We've had and have had and continue to have a amazing journey together since that time as best friends.
Okay, I need to know a bit more about this inauspicious meeting at the library.
Oh, we were young 19-year-olds, and we were both studying physiotherapy, and we gelled at that time, and we haven't left each other's side since then. So we've been very blessed.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So besides Peter, who are your people? Who's your family, your support, your friends?
We have an amazing family, and extended family and friendship circle. So in our family, we've got three daughters, and they're all beautiful people. They each have fantastic little families, and there's 8 little grandchildren that keep us very active. They're aged between 7 and 1.
Oh,
And so when everybody's here, it's really crazy chaos, but it's awesome. And then we both have siblings that are incredibly supportive of us. I have 2 sisters. Peter has a brother and a sister, and our their respective partners are fantastic. We have many cousins who surround us with their love, and some cousins we might not have seen for a long time, but we're all realising the importance of life and of being together, and what we're calling intentional relationships. And I think despite being on this journey, which we wouldn't have chosen, it's really built a lot of relationships that perhaps we wouldn't have made the effort to have. And the same, we've got lots of friends around us, and we have a fantastic church community, and everybody is so supportive. We're so appreciative of the support we get, aren't we?
I met some of your cousins at the MND walk earlier this year.
Mm.
There was a big gang of you. And as life is a funny thing, it turns out that you are distantly related to Maxine Hunt, whom sadly we lost
Yes.
a month ago.
Yes, she was related to the in-law side of one of our families. Yeah.
Now,
Mm.
I can't tell you the joy that brought her.
Mm.
It was
Mm.
she was so excited and so
Mm.
happy about that.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
you've both mentioned that you met in a crowded library studying physiotherapy. So, Peter, you're still a physio?
No, so I've retired just before COVID. I retired at age 60, and so I'm enjoying retirement, which has taken a slightly different turn to one we both expected,
Yeah.
but nonetheless we're enjoying. Yeah.
And
And I was still working when my symptoms started, and I stopped about 6 months later just because things were a bit more challenging and life had different priorities. But I could say we both really loved our work for 40 years more. And Peter worked largely in the public health system and ended up in aged care, and I worked in paediatrics. And the people that we've met across our working journeys, I think offer me inspiration now. I've, walked with families who have gone through really tough times, and I can't walk in their shoes, but they give me some strength for what we're facing now. And, you know, I think life's hard for me, but life was hard for so many of the children that I worked with and their families. And life is actually not that hard for me at the moment because, you know, a lot of people have much tougher journeys and much shorter journeys. And I'm very grateful for the time that we've been given as we're travelling along right now.
Tell us the journey to diagnosis, and when were you diagnosed?
Okay, so Pete and I are pretty active people.
Yes.
And, you know, our retirement, we anticipated that we'd be out cycling and hiking, and we're just waiting for the right opportunity for that to come along. Anyway, so we were out on a walk because we love walking in our local area, which is quite bushy. And on the way home, I had a slappy foot. And I said to Pete, that's not right. And went to the GP the next day, who thought it wasn't really anything. But he referred me to a neurologist, and whom we saw a few months later, who also didn't feel that my symptoms were significant. And although he mentioned MND, he said that I was probably had a very low risk of having MND, a 5% chance of having MND, but he'd run all the tests. And as it eventuated, my weakness became more obvious, and my subtle symptoms then developed into real symptoms. But I suppose you could say we picked up our symptoms really, really early.
Well, you picked up the symptoms really early, but it wasn't necessarily acted upon really, really early from the medical profession.
Well, I expressed an interest in being involved in any early intervention programs, research programs that could happen. And so I was referred to Calvary Bethlehem early. So by the 6-month mark, the neurologist at Calvary had given us a provisional diagnosis. But I still didn't have enough signs on my nerve conduction study or my EMG to really definitively say that it was MND. But I had enough signs of weakness that was progressing, and the signs that you needed to say that there was something in the upper and lower motor neurons. And then that was able to get things in place for even like the smallest amount of support that I needed at that time. And I needed AFOs. So we were able to get an NDIS plan early. And that's been incredibly helpful to us. So
when were you diagnosed?
Well, I had a provisional diagnosis in June 23.
Okay. So
yeah.
How has it affected your day-to-day life to date?
Today, well, as the disease has progressed, it's affected my legs first. And so my mobility has been affected. I mostly walk around with a frame now, although I can still walk on 2 sticks. Stairs are really hard, and any slope is shocking because you don't have the control to either push yourself up the slope or control yourself down the slope. So yeah, I have other means of mobility though. So I have a tricycle, and I received my tricycle in January, and I've done nearly 800 kilometres on my tricycle. So that brings me a lot of joy.
That was my next question, your tricycle. Yeah. So do you go out together?
Yeah. So Pete rides his bike and I ride my trike. We try and choose, well, we go around our local area on the footpaths. We can go down to the shops. We can ride along we live close to the beach, so we can ride along the foreshore track. We can ride to 2 of our daughters' houses. I go with my daughter, who's got a long-tail cargo bike that she puts the kids on, and I go with her to pick up the kids from school and kinder. And that's great fun. And they're the things I would have done. I would have been the grandma that was doing the drop-offs and pickups. And I was until this year. I was still doing that. So
you mentioned to me that your house was
so we just have to do things differently.
Jane, one of the great things about Janet is her ability to adapt. And so from an early stage in our journey, bike riding had become challenging on Janet's conventional bike, which we did lots of bike riding. So we actually went to small folding bikes, which are very low and they're easy to step on and off of. And we continued to enjoy lots of adventures just because, Janet had adapted to a new style of bike. And at the time that was no longer becoming possible because of the ability to safely step on and off the bike and stop without me having to catch her, right ahead just before Janet needed to stop and be there waiting for her. So we went down the tricycle journey, and it's been an absolute game changer for us. We've been delighted that it's allowed Janet and myself to still enjoy many of the things we used to enjoy and continue now to enjoy doing. And we hope perhaps that's a bit of an example maybe for others who might share a similar journey to us, because for us it's been significant.
I can't remember with whom I spoke. It's terrible. Last year or the year before, and he was an avid golfer, and not being able to play golf was terrible for him. But then he found a machine that allowed him to stand, held him up, and allowed him to still play golf. So he obviously needed his crew with him to disassemble and to wheel him around the golf course. But the joy that gave him to be able to feel that he was part of his community, he was still with his friends, and it sounds to me it's very similar to you, to still be involved in community. It's looking outside the box, isn't it? So how can I still do things that I really love and give me joy in a different way?
Yeah. And the same around the house. Pete's made adaptations for me. He's built me 3. I love growing vegetables, and he's built me 3 raised garden beds that I can garden in, but I can still get down on the ground and crawl around my veggie patches and what have you, to still get joy from that at the moment. And as time goes on, I know getting up and down from the ground is going to become a lot more challenging. It's pretty challenging now, but we'll make adaptations so that we grow our vegetables in different ways. So,
do you think the physiotherapy is assisting you?
My knowledge.
Both of your knowledge.
Yeah, definitely, because I think we can see where exactly which muscles are working, which muscles are not working, how I'm performing tasks. And then we look at the big picture and work out how I could make that task easier. So what we've done all along is tried to really plan wisely for the future without letting that become the burden for us. And I think our knowledge of both the system and the way our body functions is been invaluable for that.
I think what's really been invaluable is it's helped for the timeliness of intervention. So, Janet's been able to get onto things very quickly, and we've been able to put in place what we've needed in anticipation of perhaps what the next step was going to be. We hope that's actually the case for others sharing this sort of journey, but for us, that's been really important. And probably our background knowledge has helped. Having said that, I was a physio in a very different age group to Janet, so we've shared that professional background, but in very different work environments. But we at least have a bit of an understanding both of disability. But I guess it's also true to say nothing exactly prepares you for living this journey ourselves.
That's right.
Yeah,
absolutely true. I think it's also really pertinent what you've just said is about anticipation, because a lot of us don't confront the issue until it actually happens, and then we're playing catch up the whole time, because by the time that issue is solved, it's kind of gone and we're moved on to the next episode. So anticipation is a very good lesson from this podcast to what you've
and I think though some people's journey is very rapid, and so even with the best anticipation, the problems are mounting before the solutions are available. But I'm thankful that we've had time to kind of anticipate what's going on. We have a 2-story house, and we have our bedroom upstairs. So I was going up with one rail. Well, first of all, I was going up with no rails, and I was going up with one rail. Then I was going up with one rail and a walking stick. So then Pete's put 2 rails on. And you could describe myself as pulling myself up the stairs now. I go up once a day, and anticipating for our bathroom modifications that will happen downstairs. But that's taken almost 2 years of planning, and we've just had the funding approved. So
congratulations. Okay.
Nothing happened, but nothing happens quickly. So you have to kind of like be planning. Even I was, independent with every aspect of my life when we started planning, weren't we? So, yeah.
I'm pleased that that's been approved.
Mm.
Now, over the last 2 years, Janet and I have spent a heck of a lot of time on a screen together. We've met in person too, which is a joy. And in fact, I think we've got 2 hours on a screen together this afternoon.
Yes.
You are involved in LERAP. Len, you're a co-investigator on you're going to expand on this in a minute, on various PLEx studies and case studies. Why are you doing this?
Okay, so I think you'd probably describe me as a person who likes to contribute. And I think even in my retirement, I would be looking at ways I could support people and help people. Fundamentally, that's been within the family, really helping out with any aspect of family life that, hanging out with the grandkids and all of that kind of thing, but also looking for opportunities to be active in the community. And now that our life has taken us down, or my life has taken us down the MND path, it's part of my nature to be involved. And I feel like because of my background, I've got the knowledge and the experience to make a worthwhile contribution. And I feel that will be valuable not only for our current journey, but for other journeys in the future that other people might have. So just to try and contribute what we can in the space that we're in at the moment. So that's why I'm involved.
You do make a huge contribution. Every time I see your name on a group, I think, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
So the things, the presentation you did last year, MND.
That was at the MND Australia conference.
Yeah.
So that was really my first introduction. There was a group of researchers and people living with MND just talking about the importance of involving people with lived experience in research projects. And I presented then because another member of the group wasn't able to present. And I was pretty new on the scene, but I feel like I've really become part of the PLEx community now. And I'm so grateful for all the research that's being done in so many different areas. I've met people in discovery research, in clinical research, and in care research. And each of those broad areas are doing amazing things. And if I can be involved in contributing as a lived experience person, I'm more than happy to be involved in that. Some of the really exciting things that we've been involved in, we recently went to Queensland to try the robotic ankle that Taylor Dick and her team are developing. And whilst it's not going to be of functional benefit for me, when they got the robot ankle calibrated, my walking was amazing, absolutely amazing for 20 meters? Yeah. And the potential for using assistive technology like that to preserve function, I think, looking into the future will be amazing. So it's great that we can use our physio knowledge of walking and gait patterns and, what's involved to contribute as co-researchers. We're both co-researchers in anticipated projects there now. Yeah, so hopefully funding comes through.
I guess as physios, we have sort of a joy of movement. That's sort of the essence of what we have always done. But to see Janet just for this short burst of walking when the calibration was working and she was walking normally, and the joy in her voice, it's normal. I'm feeling normal. It was just really delightful. And it offers some hope for the future with some wonderful people doing some wonderful work, still with a lot of work ahead, but it brings us great hope.
That's really beautiful.
So the other research that I am so grateful has been done is the research by Marnie and Nicole and the respiratory teams on really establishing the benefits of non-invasive ventilation and how that can really help people's respiratory function and their quality of life and their length of life. And I really am quite like when I don't need to use non-invasive ventilation yet, but I am using respiratory strategies to try and maintain my respiratory status. But like I think that the work they've done and the teams that they've got around them are just, invaluable for improving people's quality of life. So.
Well, you're part of the dramatic shift of researchers not just ticking a box anymore that they're working with PLEx to actually having to work with PLEx. And I'm involved in quite a lot of projects too, and it's only positive, because a lot of researchers have not met anybody with MND, so they're researching a topic where they don't actually understand the complexities of it. So thank you. And it's Rowan from our meeting this afternoon. Sorry, I should have put that on.
The other research that's really great, the Fight MND have funded the National Care Guidelines, and they're going to be really important. I'm not actually involved in them because I'm involved in enough, but I will do some proofreading hopefully down the track. But the research that Karen Hutchinson is doing on establishing the role of care coordinators and ensuring that people have access to the services that they need at the right time, I think is just so important. And that's going to come through the care guidelines and through the roles of care coordinators. So, yeah.
I am involved in the care guidelines because that is the one thing that I came into this community screaming about. And also Karen is coming on the podcast tomorrow with Anthea to talk about that project, which I think is really
great. Yeah.
Now, you two have set up an MND support group down in Mornington. Tell me why, how, and it's monthly, is it? Okay, so explain to me the thought process behind that and how you did it and the benefits.
Yeah. Okay, so probably about, early on we had contact with MND Victoria, and MND Victoria do a fantastic job at walking alongside people with MND by providing their care coordinators and their education sessions and groups for, they were providing groups for carers, which is so important. But I really felt like I needed to journey with some other people with MND, and we determined that there was a cluster of people living geographically near the Mornington Peninsula, and so we approached MND Victoria about starting a face-to-face group locally, and we started about 12 months ago. Over that time, we've had probably 10 different people with MND come to our group, and we have some regulars. We've had some people whose lives have been quite challenging and haven't been able to come back. And I appreciate that it's hard for people to get out. And we've had some other people whose lives have now passed on. But but in all of that, I think it's been a really positive experience where we've been able to offer each other support, social connection, yeah, a bit of an update on what's going on, and yeah, we're just walking together, we'd like to say.
That is a cluster.
Mm.
Be interesting if we could have that researched, another cluster.
So for me, whilst it's a support group rather than a carers group, as Janet's husband being part of that monthly group, I've come to meet some wonderful people, and to feel really privileged to have met them on their journey, and for them to have shared openly with us all, and it's been a very special experience.
It's extremely important to be with people who understand.
And we know we're all on a different journey, but we're all on the same journey. Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting because everybody's affected in different ways. So yeah. The other thing that's is happening in the next couple of weeks is the MND Walk for a Cause. And over the last 2 years, Pete's run a walk for a cause through our Mount Martha Uniting Church. The first year was 48 kilometres in 48 hours along the peninsula.
Was that
yes.
a decision you made?
And that was raising awareness of women affected by domestic violence. And then the next year it was a walk and a huge planting session to support the Koala Conservation Foundation, who've planted 100,000 trees since 2020 on the Mornington Peninsula to create wildlife corridors on private and public land. And so then even 2 years ago, I could not walk 48 kilometres. That was ridiculous. I managed a couple of kilometres. So this year our focus is on walking for a cause for MND. And we're having a walk on the 5th of October around Mornington Park, which is just a really lovely park at the top of the Mornington foreshore. And it's just going to be a lovely family gathering, picnic, and walk as far as you want to walk. But it's to raise awareness and to support each other. And hopefully we'll raise a little bit of funds for MND Vic along the way.
Peter, is it 48 kilometres again?
No, so we've dampened that down a little bit. So the focus is very much on enjoying a picnic afternoon and have a stroll around the park. As some of our grandchildren are very keen to, because they went on the MND relay in February. And so they're used to blitzing around and around and around to raise money. So they're pretty determined they're going to walk for the whole 2.5 hours. But no, it's just a casual picnic atmosphere for those who want to come and enjoy the afternoon.
So the main aim is to raise awareness of MND.
Yeah.
So it's doing it through the church.
We're doing it through MND Vic.
Through MND Vic.
With support from the church.
Okay, good. So I will get more information from Pete and put the links on the bottom of this. And
that would be great. Thank you.
As promised, spread it on Facebook and Instagram.
So we're hoping that people with MND and their families would like to join us and like friends, and so that it can become a gathering of a community. So.
It's really a celebration, isn't it?
Oh God, I love you too so much.
Oh. Well, I think, I mentioned it before, but I feel this real need to celebrate the human spirit, that we've really seen with those living with MND, their families and others. It's important to embrace and put your arm around people and to celebrate the wonderful people that we've met along this journey.
Yeah, journeying together.
Because when people think about people with MND, they go to a dark black space. It doesn't have to be the dark black space. It can be the joy. It can be the living in the moment. It can be grabbing whatever you can from life, from this moment and this day. And you two are doing that. Thank you.
And it's looking at ways to do things that are different to the way you expected, but not dwelling on the fact that you can't do things. It's dwelling on what you can do. You know, I used to go outside and kick the footy with my grandson, but right now he and I are learning the piano together. So yeah, it's doing things differently, but still getting a lot of joy from them. You know, I have grandchildren who say, "Come down and play with me on the floor, Grandma." And I go, okay, but you've got to give Grandma time to get down on the floor. Come and do this, Grandma. Well, you've got to give Grandma time to get up off the floor. So I'm grateful that I can still do that. But, you know, we'll play on the table when I can't get on the floor. So
let me just say that it sometimes becomes a little bit more challenging for Janet with her walker when she's got 3 grandchildren sitting on the seat. Yeah.
But you know, small children are so accepting. They just think Grandma's legs are getting old, and that's perfect for them. Yeah.
With little children, there's no judgment. Don't care, as long as you're you and they love you, and that's it.
Yeah, they actually love gadgets. So, you know, they love my tricycle, they love my power chair, they love my car.
We're very fortunate because they are such a wonderful diversion. Yeah.
When my husband I was only telling this story yesterday, when we got the electric, the outside electric chair thing, my grandson, we had a circular driveway, and my grandson was well below the drivable age, but he would sneak the keys and go down and just spend time going around and around that driveway. And do you know what? That's a really happy memory for him. That even though his papa was not well, and he couldn't play with him as much as he wanted to, that was something that they could actually do and get joy from. It's the same kind of thing.
Important.
Now, you said something to me this morning, which I mentioned to you before, but I'm just going to read this paragraph because I love it so much. So I'm grateful for the support I have on this journey, my family, extended family, and friends who are ensuring intentional relationships, not memories, and acknowledging that everyone's journey is different. And I just love that so much because, and I know many people are making memories, and I respect that. I respect that you are doing what you want, but I just think that from my journey, what I've learned is that living in the moment and understanding what's happening in that moment and getting joy from that moment is the most important.
Yeah. And that's not to say that it's not okay to grieve, because we have grieved for what we've lost, and but I think trying to find the joy in every day is the most important thing for us, and to plan for fun things, fun, ridiculous things. I had a bush dance for my birthday just because I could have a bush dance. And it was fun whether you were 1 or you were 91, you know, like it was good fun. It was good old-fashioned fun. And, you know, we're all going on holidays together, and we did a crazy road trip to Queensland with all the kids we had 6 of us in the car.
Oh, Lord.
Plus all my gear. And just because we could, you know, it's making the most of living.
I went to one of those dances. A friend of mine had it for his 60th. Oh, we had so much fun. It was just last week. Everyone dressed in their Hodan gear, and it was just fun.
Yeah, good fun.
When Robert was ill, someone taught me to look for sparks of joy. So even on the days that were extremely hard, I would intentionally look for sparks of joy, and they're not hard to find.
Yeah.
I neglected to mention, you also did the presentation, the international presentation last year for, oh, my brain's not working today. Is a conference in Canada?
I didn't present at the conference in Canada, but I was really fortunate to get a scholarship to attend that conference virtually. And our group had a poster there from the lived experience that Kathy Blizzard presented.
Yep.
And yeah, and I'm really grateful that I've got another virtual scholarship this year to attend the international conference, because I feel like, you know, it only takes one little spark that might get a fire going, and there might be a little word of wisdom there that I hear that might be life-changing for me and for other people. So I think attending conferences and hearing about research and hearing about ideas that are coming forward is really important for me. Even though there's no effective treatments or no effective cures, people are working so hard, and I'm so grateful for that. So,
and there's no effective cure today.
Today, that's right.
Yeah. But also when it comes to care, we can do things today to make people's care better.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you attending those international, you bring that information back to the rest of us.
It's very loud out there. Part of the, one of the really great things I heard at the conference last year in Montreal was a couple of palliative care doctors who spoke about hoping for the best and planning for the rest, about being a strong advocate for yourself on your journey. And I think that's really key for us, that we hope for the best when we're realistic about what the future holds, but we're planning for the rest so that it's not bogging us down at the time when we need it. So,
Peter, I want to hear from you.
I was just going to share one little story with you. Janet's never had specifically a bucket list, because that's not where Janet's at. But she's always wanted to still be able to do what she can while she can. And very early in our journey, when walking was becoming challenging, but we got onto some carbon fibre ankle orthoses, AFOs, which really, after some research, they were the best option for Janet, this particular style, which still allowed us to do walking, and we believed we could still do our bushwalking, which was one of our absolute loves. So off we went to Tasmania, to the lower end of the overland track, which we've walked several times already. And we wanted to get to a particular site at the bottom of the overland track called Pine Valley, which is a delightful ancient forest walk to get to Pine Valley. And we've always loved mountain peaks, and there's a particular peak there which is still one of our favourites, called the Acropolis.
Yep.
There's another one there called the Labyrinth, which we'd never got to. So this time we had in mind we wanted to get to the Labyrinth. So we hiked in with our backpacks. We got the boat up the river, hiked in 10 kilometres to this isolated campsite, for those who know Pine Valley, fully packed, not to stay in the hut there, but to actually camp in our tent on one of the tent platforms. And of course, Janet's in her carbon fibre AFOs, but has managed. We camp overnight, and then the next day we set off further into the wilderness to the Labyrinth.
Yeah.
We climb up through a waterfall bed with flowing water coming down. We clamber over rocks. We do all sorts of things that we probably shouldn't do with carbon fibre AFOs.
Yeah.
And we get to the point where it opens up and you see the labyrinth laid out before you. And at that moment, Janet says, "Did you hear that?"
Oh, no.
I said, "What?" She said, "I think I've just broken my
AFO.
AFO."
No.
And she said, "What do we do now?"
No.
So my response to Janet was, we sit down and we have lunch, which we did in the middle of the Tasmanian wilderness. And to cut a long story short, Janet, to her credit, found a way of getting back to the hut that night, and of us managing to walk out the next day. We're really grateful that we've had those sort of opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jane, I was a year into my journey at that point. And when Pete says we were carrying packs, Pete was carrying 20 kilos and I was carrying 10 kilos. And right now I can't carry anything. So we're very grateful that we actually took the opportunity to go and do something like that then, because it was lovely, absolutely lovely. And I still, can picture myself out in the wilderness. It was beautiful. when my AFO broke, well, we had to just deal with it. I was in my hiking boots. I had my poles. We were okay.
Oh yeah, sure.
Just had to make sure we didn't fall over.
That's courage.
Mm.
You've been a joy. I'm very grateful for the two of you. What I think this point is moot, but I'm still going to ask it. I always ask at the end, what advice do you have to people who are on the same journey or are newly diagnosed? I think that you've probably said that throughout this chat, but do you have anything specifically you'd like to say?
I think everybody's journey is different. Everybody's family situation is different, and the way everybody lives their life is different. But I think find the joy in living and try and focus on things that make you happy, and embrace the joy of people around you. Yeah.
Peter?
What would you say, Pete?
I would only add to that what you've said before, Janet, which is anticipate where you can what the future might require and try and have that in place so that you don't have to be worrying about that and you continue to live today.
So, we're so grateful for the support that we receive from our whole team. But I suppose fundamentally the most important thing is our family and our friends.
Yeah.
And having the other supports really enable us to live. So, yeah.
Live well.
Live well, really well. Yeah.
Joy.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, you two. I'm very grateful. I'll see you this afternoon.
Yep.
Which I look forward to. Rowan's
You'll see some pictures of me this afternoon.
Okay. Yeah, I got out of doing a presentation this afternoon, so go me. All right.
Okay, well, thank you for what you're doing too, Jane.
Very much.
Yeah.
Peter, it's lovely to have met you, and you're a dynamic team,
So we'll send you the link for the walk.
Please do. I will do whatever I can to help you with that one.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Okay.
Jane.
Thanks, Jane.
Bye.
Bye.